Hi everyone. Today I want to talk about something many of us involved in English language education in Japan have probably pondered. Why is it so challenging to prioritize speaking and pronunciation skills in Japanese universities, even when we know how crucial they are? It often feels like we're pushing against a strong current. We recognize the importance of developing students' ability to actually use English, to speak it, to understand it, but it's not always embraced as readily as reading and writing. Let's explore some underlying reasons and perhaps brainstorm some realistic ways forward. So, what are some of these reasons? There are quite a few layers to this issue. First, frankly, many English teachers in Japanese universities don't necessarily specialize in English language pedagogy. Their expertise might be in literature, linguistics, or other fields, and teaching English is, for some, just part of their duties. This can lead to a subconscious feeling of, my real field isn't English education, I'm just doing this because I have to, which impacts their motivation to explore new teaching methods. Another significant point relates to teacher evaluation. Often, English education content and outcomes aren't heavily weighted or clearly defined in teacher assessments. This means less institutional incentive for teachers to innovate or prioritize areas like speaking that require more interactive approaches. Then there's a deeply rooted cultural aspect. Traditionally, in Japan, speaking has sometimes been viewed as less academic, perhaps even childish compared to the more serious intellectual pursuits of reading and writing. This persistent mindset makes it hard to advocate for communicative approaches. And let's be honest, sometimes teachers might unconsciously resist adopting audio-centric methods. This could stem from a lack of confidence in their own oral English or insufficient specialized training. It can be easier to use other arguments to justify maintaining the status quo. Furthermore, much of Japanese university English education is driven by inertia from the past. There's a strong tradition, and reform is incredibly difficult. This makes it challenging for individual teachers to voice concerns or propose changes, and even when they do, those suggestions might be ignored. Now, consider the student's perspective. Japanese university students have often spent years in an English education system heavily skewed towards entrance exams. This system prioritizes reading comprehension and grammar, not spoken fluency. As a result, many students aren't accustomed to audio-centric learning. They haven't developed strong oral communication skills and might feel uncomfortable or resistant to such approaches. Some students, like some teachers, might even resort to self-justifying rhetoric, minimizing speaking's importance because they don't feel confident in that area. Given these challenges, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. Is there a concrete, achievable way forward? Or are we stuck with only a very long-term approach, a gradual process of broadening student understanding and slowly building a stronger case for oral communication? I think the answer is probably the latter, at least in large part. It will likely be a marathon, not a sprint, but that doesn't mean we can't take concrete steps. We need to focus on a long-term, incremental approach. This includes professional development for teachers to enhance their communicative English pedagogical skills, as well as gradually raising awareness among both teachers and students about the real-world value of spoken English. Even seeking small victories by integrating more speaking activities into existing courses can make a difference. Ultimately, building a community of like-minded educators who can share best practices and advocate for change will be crucial. It's clear there are significant hurdles to prioritizing speaking and pronunciation in Japanese university English education. These challenges are deeply ingrained in tradition, institutional structures, and individual mindsets. However, by taking a long-term, incremental approach, we can, bit by bit, make a real difference. It won't be easy, but the payoff for our students' future is absolutely worth the effort. Thank you for listening. What are your thoughts on this topic? Please share your feelings and opinions with us.